Get ready to dive into a world where empires stand on the brink of war and terrible monsters tear at the fragile borderlands of men. The Adventurer-Conqueror King System Imperial Imprint, or as we like to call it, Acts 2, is now live on Kickstarter. Acts 2 is the new edition of the acclaimed best-selling fantasy role-playing game. You'll find everything you need to enjoy epic fantasy campaigns with a sweeping scope. Whether you want to crawl through dungeons, experiment with alchemy, crossbreed monsters, run a merchant emporium, raise an undead legion, or even conquer an empire, Acts 2 supports your playstyle. Acts 2 integrates experience point mechanics, making campaign activities a seamless part of the core gameplay loop. Your character levels up in new and exciting ways each time you play, adding massive replayability to each of your adventures. Acts 2 offers 18 character classes, 378 spells, new combat mechanics, and so much more. Support Acts 2 on Kickstarter today.
Giant or somewhere in between. On the table with your friends, playing Dungeons and Dragons. And if life ever knocks you down, your dice will surely turn around. Roll your stats, it's time to quest. Let's put your characters to the test.
Hello, and welcome to Knocked Prone, a podcast of high crits, small fits, and varying wits. Yeah, that's all I got.
My name is Cade, and I'm the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure.
And I'm joined by my player straight across from me.
Mason playing Litsea.
Brooklyn playing Litsea.
Jameson playing Jack.
Danny playing Tess.
Caden playing Torinn.
All right, let's go. Chaos, I guess.
We have chosen chaos.
I don't know what's happening.
You're being overrun.
Wild magic in real life now.
Just roll with
We gotta
it.
make a table where the...
Yeah, everyone roll
So
me
we
a
knocked
d20.
Cade prone, and we're taking over this entire session.
Do I get an inspiration point?
No.
As last we left our adventurers, well, Litsea was dead, but then he got revived, and the party doesn't know that he's alive yet, but they all took a short rest, and he will wake up with them. But before they took a long rest, they spoke with Lilith Flamepike about the destroyed Fort Outcast and what had happened. Learned that Amalek had lured away basically 50% of the people in Fort Outcast to go back to Great Grumbopolis with him, and then set the fort and the forest around them on fire so that they didn't have any resources. That's where we left off. Litsea is now alive. Boggy Billy wakes up, and he is still stirring his pot of stew, making sure that you guys have a breakfast for the morning. What are you doing?
How did you guys revive Boggy Billy?
We do not know, actually. So, without knowing Litsea has come back to life, Tess is gonna be kind of like rolled over in his sleeping bag, and he's brought in like a little dandelion with him that he like snaps in half and like kind of waits for it to die. And then he starts using his little power to try to revive it, trying to practice, hone his skills so that he can maybe bring Litsea back. Unfortunately, at that time, he had not quite leveled up. So, so the plant remains dead, but upon waking up, excitedly, assumingly, sees Litsea.
Yeah, Litsea sits up.
Did it work?
Noticing that frightening, like sudden sound, I'm gonna like turn around and like whip out my nunchucks, like not knowing who made that sound.
So this would be the next morning. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So in that case, I also drink my potion of luck.
Oh, you drink your potion of luck? Okay. So you drink your potion of luck that I gave you halfway into last session because I was like, it's your birthday. So happy birthday, part 2. And yeah, you drink your potion of luck. You now have advantage on all rolls for the day.
Perfect.
Immediately after waking up and noticing my arm, I am going to pull my robes down.
Okay.
And then look around. I assume I see Boggy Billy.
Yeah, he's stirring the stew.
I will just immediately get up and run over to him and just hug him, like basically just wrap myself around him and just squeeze as hard as I can.
Yeah, he like drops the spoon into the stew and it falls all the way in because he's shocked because he wasn't. It's okay. He's got a spoon ladle to get out this.
I've got mage hand and prestidigitation. Yeah. We're fine.
So who's under the spoon and not like you're being alive?
Is the spoon okay?
Yeah, right. right, Jack will walk
I
up.
immediately I defy death, and all of a sudden,
Look here, you come back and this is what you do.
No, for a second, while Akir is hugging Boggy Billy and not fully comprehending what's going on, I'm gonna like run across the campsite, like battle cry, like ready to attack this intruder. And
One hand, Boggy Billy, foe!
exactly. That is exactly what I'm gonna yell.
I will turn around and just look at Litsea and whoa!
And as I'm running, as I notice it's Lakir, I'm just gonna like chuck the nunchucks and then just tackle Akir in like a big hug and start freaking out. Where were you? What happened? How did you come back here? Are you sure? Are you a zombie? Are you sure this? Are you sure this? There's an intruder here. This isn't Lakir. Somebody's taking over his body. And I'm like frantic.
I'm me, I promise. As for how I got back here, it's a bit of an odd story. Kind of hazy. You were there, Boggy. You helped me back. From as far as I remember.
Right. No, I remember.
So that was you.
Yeah, it was me.
How did you get out?
Oh, it's a long story. It's like yours.
Well, yes, I essentially made a deal. A promise. I am to make sure that I fulfill my end of the bargain, and as long as I do so, I get to live. That's how I understood it, at least. I'm here, at least, for now. What about you? How did you all get back here? What happened? I'm looking around at, like, the destroyed forest and, like, all of Fort Outcast and
destroyed
everything.
Fort Outcast.
Why is everything destroyed?
I think your father's been causing problems again.
Of course. How? I thought that time stood still when we were in the Feywild.
Turns out that's not exactly what happened. I believe it's been a month since we first entered, so our plan didn't exactly work out how we'd hoped.
A month. Well, that's all right. My father's had what? How long ago did this happen? Do you know?
From what we understand, just recently, right before we came.
There were still buildings on fire.
We'll make him pay. We'll rebuild and we'll create what once was. For now, what's going on? What? How did you guys get back? How did you escape Raven?
Me and Jack, we were just banished from the plane, but
There was a lot of chaos that went on in one moment, and suddenly we were all here together and Fort Outcast, and we made it back, and I took your body with us.
Would I know anything about Litsea at this point?
So I will say Litsy's trying to just play it like I'm trying to not say exactly how it happened, you know, even though from your perspective we were one place one moment and then we were back with everyone else the next. How did it happen? Where did it come from? I haven't said, but we were the only ones there that you could see, so that's what you would know.
Okay, so I guess from my perspective, I would be very suspicious about both of you, because you flat out came out and said you made a deal. I would say he would be pretty suspicious of Litsea as well, just because of, when have we ever been able to just teleport like that on our own?
I guess it doesn't matter. The important thing is that we're back together, and I missed you guys, and I will give each of them a hug before pausing towards Jack. And as he comes in, I'll kind of give him a handshake and pull him in and say, I need to talk to you alone. As best I can to make that nonchalant. Lakir is not a great actor by any means, so it may be noticeable. Is there any survivors left from Fort Outcast?
There are a few, just not a lot. Luckily, Lilith has made it. We have a sending stone to be able to communicate with her, and she's happy to help us.
Wonderful. We can rally the gnolls and make a bid on Great Grumbopolis. I'll take out the dragon statuette that I have and kind of place it on the ground and utter the phrase or whatever to try to summon the dragon.
It does not work. It sits motionless as you utter this phrase.
I thought so. Part of the deal. I'll kind of look up to everyone and go and just start trying to pry out each of the gems.
Yeah.
Because I still have a religious symbol of Tiamat.
Yep.
Besides this, right? Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll just try to pry out the gems best I can.
Awesome. Yeah, so you spend some time prying them out. It works.
another thing you should know, we've got something that should help us be able to deal with your father. The only issue is, I feel like if we just kill one, it makes the other stronger. And I don't like either of them.
I don't either. I have a plan-ish. If we can get everyone to cooperate, it's not entirely in my control. You remember the weapons that Yui was guarding? In particular, Jack, do you know where he has those? Or did he disclose the codes to you?
It'll take a second to think about it.
I feel we could use those to potential detrimental effect of the Feywild, but lesser of two evils.
Oh yeah, I don't have the codes. Got the nukes. Oh, hopefully that's not a big bomb to drop on the group.
Well, if everyone is open to using those, there could be a plan lying there, but I don't know the impact they'll have. The last time we used them in the Marshall Plane, and I'll kind of just gesture around to everything. But, barring that, we can always attempt a assault of the Feywild afterwards? I don't know. As far as I understand, once my father's power is taken from him, Raven will get everything. It's hers.
So it is true. That's what she said to us, too, and I didn't know if it was
I
true.
don't know. That's just really what she told me. But, nonetheless, I think we should focus on one thing at a time. Part of my deal was taking down my father, and I need to make good on that before I can prioritize Raven.
What we've been preparing to do is to go back to Great Grumbopolis and take down your father. Between the two enemies, we definitely know more about him than we do Raven.
It's true. And honestly, we have some allies in the Feywild. I know the trees well. The giants seem to have seen past Raven's lies. So, in the future, if we do need to go help the Feywild, I think there's more for us there to help us fight a stronger enemy.
Very well. Well, let us focus on the mission at hand then. My father, any ideas on how to get up to Great Grumbopolis? My dragon, as I motion down to the statue that I'm prying gems from, is not particularly an option any longer. I have the ability to cast fly, but not on all of us.
Well, ideally, we needed an entire army up there, so we must have a good means of transportation.
I agree.
It might just be walking across the rainbow. I have Pass Without Trace, so we could have a small group lead the way, try to break through the wall.
Does the rainbow touch the ground?
Roll me a history check.
I rolled a 7.
A 7? Is that total for your history?
Yeah.
Okay, with a 7, you know,
Wouldn't this be obvious? Wouldn't we know whether or not?
you have no idea.
Oh my gosh.
Perhaps the Nose will know. They live near it, right? It goes over their lands.
Can we see it?
The Knolls?
No,
the rainbow?
The rainbow.
Roll me perception.
That one?
Not only can you see one rainbow, you could see 2 rainbows. Double rainbow across the sky.
I used a lot of power while I was sleeping. I think I need to sit down. And I'll kind of stumble and sit down by the stew.
If not, we always have the way we entered. Perhaps a rope. I could fly up with a rope. And the remainder of us could climb up, although that would probably take a great deal of strength. I don't know. I feel this is something that we'll have to revisit on the way.
Well, I suppose if it doesn't touch the ground, we won't be able to find it, so we should be able to use our observation. Also, isn't there an entire army of Great Grumbopolis citizens below the rainbow? I'm sure somebody there will know.
I know that the wizards had left, the Blue Aura, rather, had left quite a while ago, but who knows if they're even still alive. If my father's made it this far...
I think they all came here.
Unless the ladder is still attached in the opening beneath Rangers.
But it was 4 months ago now? Not sure. We have the support of Lilith, correct? Let's visit the Knolls, see if they have a solution or an idea, or if perhaps we can just gain more information from that vantage point.
Before you guys leave, you kind of look a little scraggly. Anyone want a haircut? I got my clippers right here. And
Yes.
Boggy Billy pulls out like clippers. He's like, if this fight's as big as you say it's going to be, you probably want to look your Sunday best, if you know what I'm saying, you know? He'll flip the pot over and
Dump out all of the soup.
dump out the stew. It's done. And he'll like pat on it and say like, if anyone wants to get their hair cut before we go,
I'm gonna like squeal with glee because I haven't had a haircut in forever because my hair is super long and curly.
If anyone sits, I'll prestidigitation to cool it off so no one gets burned.
yeah,
As
the
I'm running
fires
over to
underneath
it, yeah, as I'm running over to it, like thank goodness Lakir does that, and I'm gonna sit down and say, I want the side really, really short with a little bit of curl on the top.
Yeah, he pulls out his buzzer after you say that.
And then I'm gonna pause him. Are you good at this, Boggy Billy?
You know, I've never tried it on other people. I give myself a haircut.
How does his hair look?
Oh, his hair is fantastic.
Okay.
He rolled an 18.
9 out of 10.
He has the Justin Bieber swoop that he keeps swooping out of his hair.
Wow, what an image for Boggy Billy.
He is immaculate.
So I'm gonna pause for a second, and then be like, you know what, just do it.
Roll me a d20.
For my haircut,
For your haircut, roll me a d20.
I'm gonna use my luck for this. 11.
11? It's apparent after the haircut that Boggy Billy has never cut a girl's hair, but he shaves the side of your head and gives you the haircut that you're wanting. He somehow manages to make it look like you have split ends. Anyone else want a haircut? He says, meep. Okay, roll me a d20.
11.
11? What haircut do you want?
Surprise me.
Surprise you?
If anything, Boggy Billy is consistent. That's
Yeah.
what we're learning.
Boggy Billy gives you the exact same haircut that he gave to Litsea. Shaved on the sides, long
Yes!
everywhere else. Looks like it has
Matching!
split
All
ends
right.
some places.
I'll walk up big.
All right.
I'll take the same.
Okay, roll me roll me a d20.
13.
Yeah, he's
He
getting
gives you the
practice.
same haircut, but less split ends this time. And he looks over at Torinn and he's like, I guess you got scales, so you don't really need a haircut.
I lift up my sombrero
Yeah.
and I show him. Then I put it back up.
The longest hair.
Yeah,
Balls
I have Finn's hair. When Finn takes his mask off and it's just like these locks. Yeah.
I'll look at all of them and just like, if anyone's looking closely at me, you'll notice like just a look of just regret before he swallows and says, I'll take the same.
Yes.
Roll me a d20.
I hope you roll a natural one.
Oh no! Oh no! How long's your hair right now?
When I left for the Feywild, it was about down to like just past my shoulders, so probably like mid-back-ish, I would assume.
He's like, he gets overly excited that he's done 3 successful haircuts, and as he's like using the buzzers on your head, halfway through the guard falls off, and he just shears you like all across your head, so that there's just like a big bald patch like right across the center. But then it's phenomenal. Other than that,
Buzz cut. Buzz cut.
I'll just... You may as well do it all at this point.
oh well, I figured you wanted the team cut. Everyone else want buzz cut.
Yeah, I'll hop on and be like, yeah, I'll take a buzz.
Yeah, so he'll do a 0 on Lakir and Tess, and you guys now have shaved heads. Your heads are now a weapon. They deal 1d4 of damage.
Oh.
Thank you, Boggy.
Oh,
And
I'm sorry. My hands were a little bit greasy. I got a little stew on them.
No, all things considered, probably a great thing to have something go wrong with. Boggy, will you be joining us for this, or...
Well, it depends if you want me. I understand if you want me to stay here. I can hold down the fort, as they say, and make sure that nothing bad happens here. But if you want me to accompany you, I would love to see it through, if you say.
You have a personal vendetta in this, considering my father killed you and all. If you'd like to join us, you're welcome to. Otherwise, your safety will be a reassurance.
Well, all's fair in love and war. So I hold no malice towards your father. I understand why he killed me. I was nice to you guys, and he doesn't like you guys. Not that I would do the same. Not that I would do the same by any means, but I understand where he's coming from. I'm trying to have a humble point of view of this, but if you'd like me to come with you, and I mean, I guess I might as well. I'm not doing anything here. Stu's out.
Boggy Billy, can you fight?
He whips the scissors around that he used to cut your hair, and then he accidentally cuts his own hand. He's like, I can manage.
You don't happen to be able to heal, can you?
Does really good stew count?
Depends. Does it come enchanted?
We'll find out.
Okay, well, not exactly.
I thought your stew was enchanted.
You're welcome to come with us. You're welcome to come with us, but just realize it will be a dangerous endeavor. And if you're not in it to fight, I don't know if it'll be the right place for you.
He could be the guide for anyone we rescue, anyone that we are able to get out. He can lead them to Fort Outcast.
That's a great idea.
Yeah,
he's
I
like
can
a
say
trauma response counselor.
I'll just come along with you, and anytime you guys start fighting, I'll just sit out on the side. Does that sound okay?
Sounds like every NPC ever.
All right. And then he starts sweeping your guys' hair up and starts
Off
like
the
throwing
dirt.
it away. Yeah, throwing it away. Well, it's a nice campsite. So he sweeps up the hair, and then he's like, I hope you don't mind. I want to keep souvenirs. And he like takes a lock of each of your hairs.
Absolutely not.
Okay. And he drops Jack's. But all the rest of you, he like pockets it, and he's like, well, now I got a piece of you, just like you got a piece of me.
Does anyone need to do anything else here, or should we be off?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm all good.
Wonderful.
Insight check, 18.
You notice I am intently staring at Lakir and Litsea.
I pretend like I don't notice.
I probably don't notice.
Well, should we be off? I don't really have much. Here, let me check my bag. And Boggy Billy runs over to his bag and reaches in and tries to pull something out, but nothing comes out. And he's like, that's okay. It probably just means that I don't need anything.
While everyone's bag pulling, I'll pull an animal out of mine. 8.
An 8 on the animal table,
Yes.
Tess. You pull out a very familiar sight. You pull out a black and white clump of hair that unrolls fully, and you see a panda bear.
Yeah, so I'll immediately just kind of hop on my panda and give him some nice pets as we start to roll out.
I guess if everyone's pulling stuff, I'll pull a piece of candy out for my magical But first I'm gonna run like 30 feet away from everyone just in case.
Wait, what are you pulling out?
A piece of candies from my wild magic bag of random wild magic.
Torinn, you pull out one of your candies. Roll me a d20.
Okay. So that's a 8 with my bonus. Do I get anything for my luck potion for these, or is that
You can roll
separate?
with advantage with your luck potions.
Oh my gosh, it's the same thing. Doesn't matter.
8?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's on the medium table. Roll me a d100.
54.
54? Okay, what's the most medium candy for you? What candy are you it's fine, I'll eat it, but it's not my favorite.
Maybe like a
Reese's.
No, that's my number
Yeah, I
one.
was gonna
That's
say that.
that's my number one for sure. Yeah, maybe like
my mistake.
a Milky Way.
A Milky Way?
Yeah.
So you pull out just a straight up Milky Way out of the bag. If you decide to eat it, you will know the effects of it.
Okay. Guess I'll just hold on to it for a little while. Does it how long until it dissipates?
You check the Milky Way expiration date, and it is till the end of the day.
Okay, perfect.
You guys pull some things out of your guys' bags, and then Boggy Billy holds his Staff of the Feywild, and he's like, well, shall we be off? Or are we going to sit around here a little while longer?
Oh, I've started trotting along with my panda already.
On its back?
Yep. And then every once in a while I'll get off and try to give it a ride, and then it's too heavy, so I give up. But yeah, we're rolling off to the knolls.
Yeah, and as we actually travel, I guess the first thing is I would cast Sending to Yui.
Yeah.
And I'm going to say...
Before you do, roll me just a straight up luck check, because it's cross plane.
Okay, natural 20. this
All
time.
right, it's going to make it.
Yui, I know that you had some important information concerning a weapon. I was wondering if you would disclose that. It's very important.
So you send it to Yui. Yui responds with,
Oh, look here. I have bomb codes in my head. Someone tried to once take them from me through brain surgery.
Well, Yui confirmed what I know, so that's good. But he didn't disclose them. I don't know if it's something he wants to.
roll me a history check, Lakir.
Okay. 16 plus 9 now,
Oh,
so
wow.
25.
20 with a 25. You recall that, yes, there was a ritual to get them out, but Yui does not have access to them in his current mind state.
Okay.
So he kind of is like, oh, I know they're in there, but like I don't really know how to get them.
I'll relay that to the group and mostly be talking to Jack and say, perhaps if we can get him to meet us somewhere, we would be able to perform the ritual. If I recall correctly, it requires 2 people, and you and I could perform it, assuming that's something you're willing to do.
Yeah.
You do have the other pieces, of course.
Yeah, we can do that. I'm obviously concerned. Weapons of mass destruction and all. But as a backup option, just in case, it's like, uh-oh, I'm taking you down with me then. Boom.
Well, we had to travel some distance over a sea to get there. I would hope that the damage wouldn't spill over too much. We first have to find a way back to the Feywild before anything like that can happen.
Cross that bridge later.
I know how to get to the Feywild. That's kind of my whole deal,
Oh, yeah.
I transport back and forth to the Feywild if you like. I don't know where I'm going to transport you to, but...
The Feywild.
Well, the Feywild, but I'm not saying like, well, I can get you to these coordinates. I'm just saying that I could probably get you to the Feywild if you like.
And I could get us back. So, if that's something all of you are on board for, I understand that it's a large implication and a potentially devastating plan.
I do think at some point that might be a good safety precaution. I think for now, though, it'd be better to just focus on Great Grumbopolis.
All right. Speaking of, I wanted to talk to each of you. I don't know what my father has planned for the city. I don't know what we're going to find. I don't know what we're going to face. I don't know exactly even what he will be capable of.
Well, whatever it is, we're gonna help you take care of it.
Thank you, Tess. I just wanted to let each of you be aware that if there are people that you want out of there, we'll need to get them out quick. I'm not sure what will happen, and I don't know what my father will do to retain his power.
That's where you come in, Boggy Billy.
How do you mean?
We're gonna send people to you so you can lead them to safety.
Right. No, I totally forgot.
Oh no!
He's writing it down in his journal as you speak.
Good.
Torinn, I know you had someone special to you that was imprisoned before we left. Them in particular. The prison may be a difficult area to get to. We may need to plan for that if we intend on getting them out.
And we'll have to figure out a way to get them out. I'm pretty sure everyone else, they left, didn't they? At one point, didn't a bunch of people leave?
The Blue Aura did, but as far as I know, the others are under the corruption of my father.
Okay.
And I don't know how willingly they'll come.
Right.
We may have to dedicate our efforts to specific people rather than the city as a large. It would probably take days to get the thousands of people out of there. I don't think we have that kind of time with my father on our backs. Anyway, light conversation.
Yeah, we might be killing thousands of people just to take down one guy, but...
Speaking of, Litsea, I know that the heal bots that were in there, do you know what they're capable of? Do you know that if they could be used for weapons of some kind? I worry what my father has done with the technology while we've been gone.
If Q is any indicator, they can be weaponized fairly easily.
Precisely my point.
I certainly think there's a potential.
Litsea, roll me a history check and roll me a stealth check.
14 on my history check, and then what was the other roll?
A stealth.
13 for stealth.
Okay, with a 14, you seem to recall a conversation with your father talking to Ted, the head architect, and them discussing how the Healbots was a great power, but with the great power came a great danger, and the danger was, if it got into the wrong hands, that it was very easily corruptible. So you do know that these Healbots are very corruptible, and with a 13 for your stealth check, nothing happens.
Are you going to tell me what it was for?
No.
Okay. Well, I relay that information to Lakir.
Something to keep in mind is that we may not be only fighting potential denizens of Great Grumbopolis and, well, to be frank, potential friends, as well as weapons of war that my father has specially constructed. I feel like this is going to be a careful operation, surgical, not something that we can just approach as a siege, considering our forces.
What if we had the gnolls lay a distraction siege in the front? A very careful one where there was little actual battle that takes place, and then we try to sneak in and get to your father without too much direct conflict. If you could fly up and lower the rope, while the gnolls distracted them in the front, perhaps we could sneak into Oleander's quarters where I assume Amalek would be.
That would probably work.
Sounds like a good plan in theory, but what are the chances that that's where Amalek will be?
Knowing my father's ego, I think he would want to take the largest and grandest room available. That would certainly be in the palace, so...
It would be worth a shot. I don't think that it would be any harm done, even if he wasn't there.
Yeah, if he's not still inside, can I get some of the books we got from the library in there?
Sure.
Or just read while we're traveling.
Sure. Do you have anything in particular that you're looking for?
Just give me as many as you can and I'll flip through them. And I'll just as you hand them to me, just carry as many as
Sure. I'll give you five hefty books.
I'll try to make a little makeshift leash for my panda and hand it. Oh no, I'll hand the bag to Boggy Billy so he starts following him while riding the panda. That way I can read without steering.
So Boggy Billy satchels the bag to himself and is like, oh yeah, well, I could take care of animals. I think I'm pretty good at that. And you start rifling through the books.
Yeah, I'm just looking for anything that has to do with the demon. Rock Sasha.
Roll me an intelligence check, and then everyone else roll me a perception check.
Natural 20.
Ooh.
Goodness, I'm getting all my bad rolls out of the way now. 6.
17.
That makes it a 20.
A 20? Nice.
Mine is also a natural 20.
Jack with a 17, Torinn with an unnatural 20, and Lakir with a natural 20. You notice as you are walking through this forest, it's about to end. You hear this huge, whirring sound. And Lakir, in the distance, you can see, with a natural 20, you can make out the details of a purple goop fracking station. There's a drill that is drilling into the earth and pulling out just mass amounts of this purple goop. And there is a pipe that connects to the fracking station that leads straight to Great Grumbopolis, which you can now see, as well as, since you got a natural 20, you notice the rainbow gone. Just completely gone. And I think that is where we're going to end our session for tonight. My name is Cade, the host and dungeon master of this Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition adventure, and I'm joined here by the players to my left.
Mason playing Lakir.
Brooklyn playing Litsea.
Jameson playing Jack.
Danny playing Tess.
Caden playing Torinn.
Thank you so much for joining us today. If you like this episode, go ahead and go on over to patreon.com/knocked. We are currently in the process of rolling out a lot of cool new things, including explicit podcast releases that are not available to the general public. Go on over to patreon.com/knocked, and for as little as $2 a month, you can get a ton of background information on our podcast. And also it helps us support this podcast and keep it at the quality that it is today. And with that, we hope that you remember when life knocks you flat on your back, all you got to do is keep rolling, and we hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.